All right, today we're going to finish up a last little lesson here in Unit 5 and take a look at our characteristics of polynomial functions on the graphs, and then also just talking about how these roots, solutions, or zeros are related to factors, which are related to the polynomial function itself. So up top here you can see we have some roots. Obviously, those roots came from factors being set equal to 0. So if you look at them, you can see that each of these factors in the second row here, when set equal to 0, gets you the roots that are above. So that factor of x got us our root at 0. Factor of 2x minus 3 got us the root at 3/2. And those x plus 1 factors, when set equal to 0, got us our solution at -1, which appeared twice, giving it the multiplicity of 2. Now, if we were to take all 4 of those factors, multiply them back together, each of these 4, we would end up at the polynomial function. Here, 2x to the 4th plus x to the 3rd minus 4x squared minus 3x. So obviously factors multiply to get us our polynomial function. And then if we take those same factors, set them equal to 0, we get our roots, which would be the same thing as x-intercepts on a graph. So let's take a look here at how to take some factors, come up with a polynomial function. So if you look at this first example, we have 3 factors. We just need to multiply them back together to get our polynomial function. So we're going to multiply them just 2 at a time. We'll work our way across from left to right. So as I take my first 2 factors here, I want to multiply them together. So 2 terms, so it's 2 terms. We're going to FOIL it all the way out, the 4 different multiplication operations. So as we do that, we end up at 2x squared plus 1x minus 6x minus 3. So from there, we want to go ahead and combine some like terms. So as I combine like terms, I get 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. So really, that was the first 2 factors, the x minus 3 and the 2x plus 1 multiplied together. So now all I want to do is take that product, multiply it times my last factor here of x plus 1. So 3 terms times 2 terms, we're going to have to multiply a total of 6 times. So taking each one in the first set of parentheses, multiplying it times each value in the second set of parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. So you can hear once we get done multiplying all 6 times, we're going to combine our like terms and end up at our polynomial function, 2x to the 3rd minus 3x squared minus 8x minus 3. Now let's take it one step further. On the second example here, this time we're given just the roots along with the multiplicities and asked to come up once again with that polynomial function. So we need to first find the factors. So for each of these roots, we're going to come up with a factor which produced that root. So really, if I have a root at 3, that factor was x minus 3. So that factor, when set equal to 0, got me that solution of a positive 3. So we're going to do the same thing with each of these other roots. So the -2 root came from the factor of x plus 2. And then our root at 0 with the multiplicity of 2 means that we had factors of x that appeared twice. So as I get my 4 factors, right, that produce these 4 roots or solutions, now we just need to multiply these things back together. So you always want to just multiply 2 things at a time as you go through. So to make life easy, I'm going to start by just multiplying these x's together real quick. So multiplying those x's together gets me just x squared. Now I'm going to take it, multiply it times one of my other factors. We'll start with the x minus 3. So taking the x squared times x minus 3 now. We just need to distribute that x squared, multiply it times each of those. That'll get us our x to the 3rd minus 3x squared. And then we have one more factor we need to multiply. So I'm going to go take my final factor here, x plus 2. So we FOIL those out again, multiplying them to get our 4 terms. And once we get our 4 terms, we're going to combine like terms to get our final polynomial. So here you can see how roots come from factors being set equal to 0. Factors, when multiplied back together, will get us that product or that polynomial function. So the last little example here on the front, we're this time given the polynomial and asked to work backwards, find the factors, and then take those factors, set them equal to 0 to find the roots. So looking at factoring methods from last little unit, we're going to take our polynomial here and try to get it factored. So if I start, first method of factoring, always take out the greatest common factors. Looking at those three terms there, we can get out the greatest common factor of x from all of them. After I factor out an x from each of those three terms, I want to take the trinomial left in parentheses, three terms, takes me to the x method of factoring. So a times c up top with the b value down below. So we got 7 times -6 will get me a -42 up top. B value of -19 down below. So I need one positive, one negative factor. In this case, +2, -21. Those things will multiply to give me a -42. They'll add together to give me a -19. So I'm using the 2 and the -21 to split the middle term. Once we split the middle term, we're going to take the greatest common factor out of each group. So looking at the group on the left, we have a greatest common factor of x that we can take out. To get that same 7x plus 2, in my second group, I need to factor out a -3. So from here, we're combining the two greatest common factors we took out, the x and the -3. We also have the 7x plus 2 factor. And then we don't want to forget about our original greatest common factor we took out in the beginning, which was just that single x. So from here, we have three factors. We're going to use those three factors to get our three solutions. So set them each equal to 0. So our first root or solution, taking that x out front, setting equal to 0, gives me a solution of just 0. When I take the x minus 3 factor, set equal to 0, I get my solution of +3. And our final one here, 7x plus 2, if we subtract 2, then divide by 7, we get our last factor, -2/7. So once again, you can see how polynomial function is a product of factors. Factors, when set equal to 0, get us to our roots or our solutions. So looking at our polynomial functions for this unit, obviously we have things that are going to have multiple turns, multiple curves, right? We're just going to try to talk about the same characteristics that we've been talking about. The only additional one, right, would be talking about the degree. I think the rest of these we've covered in previous units. So we don't need to worry necessarily about this function up top. Looking at the degree, our degree is always going to be the number of turns plus 1. So if we look here at the graph, we can see it's taking 2 total turns. So 2 plus 1 takes me to the degree of 3. Looking at the domain, still talking about x values, how far left and how far right. So in this case, our domain will be all the way left to -infinity, all the way right to +infinity. Same thing with the range. When we understand that these things have some arrows on them, they're extending. So y values going all the way down and all the way up, negative to +infinity as well. So next, talking about the end behaviors. You can tell here, odd degree, we said we have opposite end behaviors. So we just want to take our values from the domain again, put them after these x blanks. So first left value in the domain was -infinity. Second value in my domain was +infinity. So domain, remember, those are x values, whereas range, we're talking about y values. So really, we're just asking ourselves, what happens as we go to each of those x values for the y values? So if I look at what's happening as x goes to -infinity, that would be tracing the graph off to the left. Here you can see the further left we go, our graph is going up. So up on the y-axis would take me to +infinity. So we'd say the first left end behavior is as x goes to -infinity, our y is going to +infinity. Second end behavior is asking what happens as x goes to the furthest right value in our domain, which would be a +infinity. So as I trace it off to the right, you can tell this time, the further right we go, the further down on the graph we go, down on the y-axis would take me to -infinity. So the further right we go, our y values are going down towards -infinity. Next section, the relative extrema. We have multiple, right? Each turn would be considered a maximum or minimum. So I would say if we're working from left to right, this first turn here, that one would be considered to be a minimum point, whereas the second one, second turn, ends up being a maximum relative to the points around it. So we would just go ahead and put each of those as points, an x and a y value for each of those maximum and minimums that you see. Each turn should be a maximum or minimum. Next section, we're talking about our intervals again, increasing and decreasing intervals. These, once again, are always looked at from left to right. Another big thing we've been continuing to talk about is that our increase and decrease interval, we're looking for x values. So x values where the graph is increasing, and an interval of x values where the graph would be decreasing from left to right. So as we look at it, and if we were to trace it from left to right, we have first section, I would say, is going down from left to right. So as we trace this first section here, I would say that one is going down or decreasing all the way until we get to that first turn. As soon as we get to the first turn, next section would be going up from left to right or increasing. And then when we make that second turn, we turn and we start decreasing again and going down. So here you can see, if we just highlight the graph real quick, we got one increase interval and two decreasing intervals. We always want to make sure that we're talking about the x values as we talk about each of those intervals. So let's start with the increasing interval. That one just highlighted here in green. So working from left to right, when does it start going up? We're looking at x values. So in this case, we'd say at this turn, we have the x value of negative 1.12. It's going to continue going up or increasing until we get to this x value at the second turn, which in this case, 1.786. So really all we're saying is that the graph is increasing between those two x values at the first and second turns. The decreasing intervals now, we have a couple of them. If we start with the one on the left, that one starts decreasing way off to the left. We know way off to the left is the x value of negative infinity. So our first decreasing interval will go from negative infinity all the way until the x value at the first turn, which was that negative 1.12. So that's the section highlighted in red, the left section highlighted in red. Our second decrease interval, if we're working from left to right, will start going down at 1.786 for the x value at the second turn, and that will continue all the way off to the right, will take me to the x value of positive infinity. So just remember, we're talking about x values in this case, so we're looking at the x-axis. So we have two decreasing intervals, one increasing interval. The x and y intercepts should be labeled here for you. So you got three x-intercepts. Going back to our degree of 3, we have 3 solutions here. So we want to make sure we don't just put single values, we list those things as points. Same thing with the y-intercept, right? Here we have a clear point where it crosses the y-axis. So x-intercepts at negative 2, 0, 0, 0, and 3, 0. Y-intercept will be located at 0, 0. So look at this last graph here. Jumping to number 6. We can see that if we throw some arrows on here and extend it, this polynomial function is still going to go all the way left and all the way right. If we count the number of turns, it's going to turn a total of 3 times. So 3 plus 1 takes me to the degree of 4. And we also know that, looking at the end behaviors, if the end behaviors are the same, your degree has to be even, right? So in this case, we really have 4 solutions. Once we understand that that bounce off the x-axis at 0 is really a double solution or a solution with a multiplicity of 2. So domain, we're talking all the way left, all the way right. When we look at the range, though, however, it's going all the way down to the y value negative infinity. The highest y value that we see will be this y value at this turn up top of 2.833. So we're focused on y values for the range. In behaviors, we're still taking our domain values, throwing them after our x arrows. So here we're saying as x goes to negative infinity, we'd be talking about the left end behavior. As x goes to positive infinity, that would be talking about the right end behavior. Whether we're tracing this graph off to the left or off to the right, you can see regardless, off to the left we're going down, off to the right we're also going down. Down would take me to the y values of negative infinity. So here you can see the end behaviors match, which we talked about last class when we sketched our polynomial functions. Those end behaviors of even degrees would be the same. Talking about our relative extrema, we have 3 turns. So really we should have 3 total maximums / minimums. So in this case, I would say this first turn, if we're working from left to right, this one right here would be considered a maximum point. Second turn, a minimum point. Third turn, a maximum point. So we'll just list each of those as x and y values. So we have our 2 relative maximum points, the 1 relative minimum point. Once again, just put those as a point, so an x value and a y value. Look at our intervals this time, since we already have a total of 3 turns. what's going to happen is we're going to have a total of 2 increase intervals, 1 decrease interval. So I'm going to go ahead and try to highlight them first. So if we're working from left to right, first section, tracing from left to right, we're going up or increasing. So here we have a section that's going to increase until we get to our first turn. Then second little section here is decreasing as we go down to the second turn. Once we hit the second turn, we start going back up or increasing until we hit our third turn, turns back down and starts decreasing. So really we have the increase in intervals highlighted in green here. The sections of our polynomial function that are not highlighted right, those would be considered decreasing intervals. So let's talk about x values for each of these intervals. So working off from the left, remember, way off to the left is the x value negative infinity. So we're going to say this first one, increase interval, is going to go from negative infinity all the way until we get to our x value at the first turn, which is that negative 0.693. If I want to talk about the second increase in interval real quick, the second interval starts at the x value of 0 going up and continues going up until we hit the x value at that top turn, which is a 1.443. So make sure, once again, anytime we're doing this, we're focused on the x values of the turns, not the y values. Checking the 2 decreasing intervals. This first decreasing interval, this little section here in between the first and second turns, we're talking about the x values. So in that case, this turn here has the x value of negative 6.93. Second turn, x value of 0. So our first decreasing interval will be between those 2 x values, negative 0.693, comma 0. The second decreasing interval is going to start going down up at this third and final turn. So we want to talk about that x value, which was a 1.443, and then it's going to continue going down all the way off to the right, which would be the x value of positive infinity. So multiple intervals here based on all the sections of our polynomial function. Remember, we're always looking from left to right and always focused on x values. X and y intercepts will be listed. You just have to identify them. So in this case, we have 3 different points where it's hitting the x-axis. And again, 1 point where it is crossing the y-axis. So list those things as points, and the points will be labeled for you to identify.